Hi guys, it's Andrea. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe my video. Today I am coming to you with a video that has been requested so many times, and I'm sorry. I've been hesitant on doing this video because I knew it was going to be a longer video. And honestly, I was wondering how many people would actually sit there and watch me for 30, 40 minutes. But if it helps one person, it's all worth it. So today I am coming to you to share exactly what I say during an actual loan closing. I'm walking you through each document and telling you exactly what I said. However, I do want you to keep in mind that each person is going to create their own script. When I first started out, I had no idea that I was going to end up saying the same thing over and over and over again. But that's what I did. After about 10 closings, I realized that I was saying the same thing. I was giving the same corny little jokes, but it's all good. It's fine. So you're going to come up with your own script. What I say may not be what works for you, what flows off your tongue easily. So just keep that in mind, that you don't have to say the same thing I say or the same thing another notary says, but just know the information, know exactly where to look to find the information, and you will be fine. And before long, you will have your own script down pat. All right. So I'm going to share my document with you. When you first get the packet, they're going to send it to you in PDF. When you open it up, it's going to look like this. Typically, the very first page is the packing slip. We're going to bypass that. It's going to have notary instructions. I want you to pay very close attention to your notary instructions, particularly when it talks about the color ink. That's one of the things you definitely want to look for. So, for example, this packet requires blue ink. There are a few lenders that I work with that require black ink. So I just want you to be on the lookout for that type of language. Also, if you happen to be in a state that has an ink requirement, at the end of the day, you're going to do whatever your state requires. But Maryland does not have an ink requirement, so I typically use blue unless told otherwise. All right. So I do want to pause here. If you watched a few of my videos, you know that I show 6 documents first. So those documents are the closing disclosure, the settlement statement, the note, the right to cancel, the deed of trust, and the first payment letter. And I show that because it's the meat and potatoes of the actual loan. It's the stuff that they really, really care about. Everything else in my mind is like fluff. This is what matters. So I've tried to organize this packet in that way a little bit to show you exactly how I start off. So the first document I show them is the closing disclosure. This is your closing disclosure. It shows you today's date. It shows you your disbursement date. This is a 30-year refinance fixed rate FHA loan. Here are your loan terms here. Here is your projected payment here. This is how much is coming out for escrow. This top line is your closing costs, and this bottom line is how much you owe. Does that look correct? And that's exactly what I say to them. And so I definitely ask them, does that look correct? Because I want to know if this is what they're expecting. If this information is not what they're expecting, then we need to stop the signing. We might need to call the lender, title, lender, signing company, whomever, because we need them to confirm that these numbers are accurate, and if they're not, then we have a problem. All right, so down here it will tell you whether your borrower is giving you money or if they are expected to get money. So in this case, I'm expecting $769 from the borrower. All right, so then they say, oh, that looks correct. We go to the next page. Next page, I say, here is how they came up with some of your loan terms. Here's your loan cost here, everything associated with getting the loan itself. And here's your homeowner's cost, everything associated with being a homeowner. So this is where you'll find property taxes, homeowners insurance, things of that nature, if that's what you chose to do. And then I flip over the page. Now, mind you, as I'm going through, I'm pointing at everything. If they're welcome to look at each page, page by page, they can go line item to line item, but I do not do that. I do not work them through that. I share with them the most important stuff, and then I flip over the page. This here talks about the paying off of your initial loan, and then I flip over the page. Now, I got carried away with redacting stuff, so we're just gonna imagine this. But this is the third page, and so what I typically go over, I'll say, this tells you over here that you have a 15-day grace period after which you'll be charged a 5% interest. Down here, it states that you have a no negative amortization. Over here is where it talks about your escrow information, but I have more specific in the packet. And then I flip over the page. Typically, no one asks about that page. All right, this is the fourth page, and this is what I say. Here are your loan here are your loan calculations, but this time is for the life of the loan. If ever you need the lender or the settlement agent, that information is there. For now, can I get you to sign and date? And so 30 seconds and I'm done with the first 5 pages. The most important documents, I'm done with them. As long as there were no major questions, no one was surprised by the numbers, then we're good. And that's all I say. I don't go line by line. I don't know the intricate details of this loan. I don't know why they have so much or not enough loan lender credits or things like that. And that's not my job for me to know all that. That's the lender's job for them to know all that. And if we have questions about that, then we can call the lender. But what I just gave you is exactly what I said. The next page I flip over because there's no signature. And keep in mind, I only show them the documents that they need to see, the documents that require their signature. All right, next document I show is the settlement statement. And all I say is, this is your settlement statement. It reiterates some of the information that's outlined on your closing disclosure. The only difference is it shows you all of your debits and all of your credits. If you're good with that, can I get you to sign no date? And that's it. That's what I said. And keep in mind, I am pointing to where they need to sign, and I'm telling them exactly what I need to do. Yeah, I'm bossy. Yeah, sign, date, sign, no date. I am very specific. So there's no mix up here. So for example, this one required a signature with no date. You do not want them to date documents that does not call for it because it could cause an issue. All right, this is a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Next document is the deed of trust. And what I say is, this is your deed of trust. All deeds of trust in the state of Maryland are the same except a small piece that talks about you, talks about how today's date, talks about how your deed is vested, tells you who your lender is, talks about how much your loan is for, when you're expected to pay off the loan. And there's going to be another document that follows your deed of trust that states that you live in a development. Everything else, simply put, if you don't pay, you don't stay. Pause for chuckle, because they normally chuckle. And then I will give them the deed of trust and I'll say, now can you please initial each page? And as you get closer to the back, you'll find that there's a page where you need to sign a date. Now, not all deeds of trust require initials, but this one does. So you're going to do exactly what it asks you to do. So as they get closer to the back, there's going to be a document that they need to sign and date. And then you're going to notarize, but keep in mind, they need to initial that page as well as the next page. So this page here is not something you notarize. If you happen to see it, it is not a document you notarize because you are not the agent of this party secured by the foregoing security instrument. This is for the lender's notary. So you're not going to fill this out. You're not going to notarize this one. You are notarizing this document here. Okay? But at the end of the day, they still have to initial this, even though you nor I, we're not doing anything with it. All right? So the next document, I'll say, as I mentioned before, this document states that you live in a development. Can I get you to initial each page and sign and date? That's all I say. All right, this is the note. This is your promise to pay the loan back. It tells you how much your loan is for. It tells you your interest rate. Your first payment is due on June 1st. This is when you're expected to pay off the loan. This tells you what your monthly payments will be, but oftentimes that's minus escrow. Where is it at? It also reiterates the fact that you have that 15-day grace period, after which you'll be charged a 4% interest. Everything else is talking about your obligation to pay the loan back. Can I get you to initial each page and then sign no date? So like I said, I'm very specific. I want them to do exactly what I want them to do. Do not have them sign a date. Excuse me. Do not have them sign a note. I'm saying this all wrong. Do not have them date a note if it does not call for a date. The lender will get mad and have you go back out. I don't know why. But if it does not call for a date, do not have them date it. All right. This is in regards to paying off your initial loan. Can I get you to sign no date? And that's exactly what I said. It's your payoff affidavit. So this is in regards to paying off the initial loan. Sign no date. You're going to notarize it. You'll see your notarial language there. All right. This next document, I do believe is a Maryland specific document, but I might be wrong. It's a owner's affidavit, but the only thing you really need to be concerned about is this page here. So you want to ask them, have you had any recent construction done to the property? Yes or no? If they say no, that you're going to put they are going to put an X in this box here. If they say yes, then we need to figure out which one are they. Construction recently completed within 120-day lien period. Or if they're thinking about construction contemplated but not commenced, and then they need to fill out as much as this as they may know. I've never had anyone check that. It's always been this one here with no recent construction contemplated, or rather no recent construction. All right, then you're going to skip. This next page, they are going to sign right here, and you're going to notarize right here underneath and fill in this information here. So this is the exhibit, excuse me, exhibit A. This just gives their property description. There's nothing we have to do there. Every now and then I'll see that the property description requires an initial, and that will be over here. But for the most part, you don't really do anything with that. Privacy policy notice, that's just giving them some information about their privacy policy. You don't need to do anything about that. Escrow agreement, typically they don't sign that. That's for the escrow company. Survey affidavit. This is your survey affidavit. It's talking about the condition of your property and states that the information you gave them is absolutely accurate in regards to your property. And that's what I say. That's what I say. I'll say date, sign, and print your name. That's exactly what I said. So I don't spend a great deal of time. Then you're going to notarize Exhibit A yet again. All right, this document is in here. It's a COVID document. And so what it is since COVID, buildings and county clerk's office and so forth have closed down temporarily. Now they're backlogged. At the end of the day, they're backlogged. So I'll say something along the lines of, due to the coronavirus, many different buildings and county clerk's office has closed down temporarily. This is holding all parties harmless should they not be able to record your deed of trust in a typical time frame. simply because the county clerk's office was closed. And you also acknowledge that you do not have any unpaid liens or debts that are associated with the property. Can I get you to sign and date? And I'm sure I don't have to say all of that. At the end of the day, you're going to read your audience and you're going to figure out whether your audience wants a long definition or whether they just say, oh, they just want you to read the title and tell them where to sign a date. There are some people that are just like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for a long definition. All I want to do is sign. You don't have to say anything. We love those types of people. But every now and then you get a type of person who wants to read every single page and they want a longer definition. So just learn your audience, figure out what their needs are, and give it to them. So you don't have to do that long verbiage that I just gave. It just depends on whether I felt that my audience would appreciate a longer definition or not. This is your refinance affidavit. Talks about how your deed of trust is going to be recorded at the county clerk's office. Can I get you to sign no date? I do not get them to fill this out. This is for the county clerk's office. They're going to do that. All the borrower is going to do is sign no date, and I am going to notarize. All right. So you'll see documents that look like this. This is not for you. This is for the closing agent and tells you, attention closing agents. Excuse me. However, it is every now and then is worth a read because you end up learning a lot of information just by reading what happens next in the step, in this whole process that you're in. It gives you a bit more details, but I have redacted it, so we're not going to worry about that. But like I said, all of these documents that I'm skipping over, these aren't documents for you, it's for the closing agent. Okay, you're going to keep going, do. All right, so this next document is the addendum to the Uniform Residential Loan Application. And what I say is, this is part of the FHA loan application. I go to the next page. This is your borrower's consent for Social Security Administration to verify your Social Security number. Can I get you to sign date? Sign date. And I point to both of those areas that I need them to sign and date. I do not go line by line, read all the small print. No. All right, next document. As you can see, it's the direct endorsement approval for a HUD FHA insured mortgage. Skip this page, go to the next one. This is your borrower certification. You certify that you do not have any unpaid debts that are associated with your mortgage and that you plan to occupy the property. Sign and date. That's it. Because if you read it, that's kind of what it says. Any other unpaid obligations contracted in connection with the mortgage intends to occupy the subject property. So yeah, sign a date. You do nothing here. You're not the mortgagee. They're not the mortgagee. Okay. Next document is your Uniform Residential Loan Application, also known as the 1003. Now, I put the old one in here, and even as of today, I still am receiving the old one. So I want to show you exactly what you do. Let's say you have one borrower. There's only one borrower. Well, if you read this line here, it reads in a way that says that if this is a joint account, then the borrower and the co-borrower will sign here. Even if there's only one single borrower, have them sign this document, because too often lenders require this document to be signed, but it clearly states that it really only should be signed if this is a joint account. Have that one borrower sign it anyway, and then put a clean copy in there as well. Therefore, you have appeased everybody. You've appeased the lender that wants that one borrower to sign, and you've appeased the lender that does not have that requirement. Put a clean copy in here. If we're talking about two borrowers, then Borrower 1 will sign here, borrower 2 will sign here. And how you know is you're going to look right here where it says borrower, you're going to look for their name, and whoever's name is here for borrower, they're going to sign here. And whoever name is here for co-borrower, they're going to sign here. Okay? And that's all you do for the first page. Keep in mind that when it comes to the 1003, also known as the Uniform Residential Loan Application, those pages are numbered. So I just want you to be mindful of that because it's going to come back up in a few minutes. All right, so we're going to go down to page 3. And we see this really fine print. And so what I say to this is that you acknowledge that the information in your loan application is absolutely accurate. Sign date, sign date. So the first borrower is going to sign a date, the second borrower is going to sign a date. And that's all I say. I skip over all of this information. Page 2 that goes over all of their income and all, I skip over all of that. Sign date, sign date. Page 4 typically has nothing there. Typically, you still get them to sign and date the bottom. Sign date, sign date. They're considered the borrower. And I do want to point this out. You see where it says loan originator signature? That is not them. Okay? So they're signing on this 1003 document. They're signing each space for borrower. All right. This is a demographic information addendum. Now, if you're working with a new 1003, a new loan application, and it looks different from what I just showed you, then this page is going to be part of the loan application. But if you find that this is a standalone page in that, see where it says page 4 of 4, this is the 1003 that we just went over. This is the last page to that. So this document here, this demographic information addendum is by itself, it's standalone. Then I was taught that you always get the borrower to sign and date. So they sign right here, date somewhere over here. And that is what I've always done. However, now this document is part of the new 1003 and I do not get them to do that. All right, this is your notice of right to cancel. All right, what I say is this is your notice of right to cancel. It tells you today's date. You have up until the 23rd is what it would normally say. So let me put that in here. April 23rd, 2020, 21. All right. So let's pretend that date was already there. So what I would say is this is your right to cancel. It tells you today's date. You have up until the 23rd to cancel. In this area are the instructions to cancel, but for now, you're going to sign and date the very, very bottom line. And that's exactly what I said. And I say very, very because I was told that if you repeat yourself psychologically, it sticks. Not all the time, but it helps. So sign the very, very bottom line of each copy. So with this one, I think there are 2 copies. All right, next page is your affidavit of occupancy. This states that this is your primary residence and you plan to occupy the property and that this is simply a refinance. Can I get you to sign and date? And that's what I say, and I notarize the document. All right, this is your amortization schedule. It tells you about every payment you plan to make, tells you how much is coming out for your principal, how much is coming out for interest, and gives you the ending balance. And it talks about every payment on down to the last one. And I point to that last one. Can I get you to sign and date? And that's all I say. All right, typically I've already shown this document, but this is what I say. This is your first payment letter. It tells you how much is coming out for principal and interest, estimated taxes, hazard insurance, mortgage insurance, with your monthly payment being this amount. Again, first payment is due June 1st. Can I get you to sign and date? That's exactly what I said. And I'm pointing to all of this information. Therefore, if they need to go back in the packet, they can kind of somewhat remember exactly what document they're looking for, because I have specifically pointed this out. All right, typically the next page is what they consider a coupon. And I tell the borrowers, here's your coupon. Keep in mind, this is not really a coupon. Pause for a moment. It's really not a coupon. Like, why call it a coupon? It'd be nice to have an actual coupon for mortgage. Here's your coupon, $100 off your next payment. That would be wonderful, but whatever. Anyway, back to the program at hand. This is your mortgage coupon. I am going to give this document to you, and I'm going to put it on the very first, as your very first page of your packet. So in the event that you do not get your packet of information in the mail in regards to your payments, you will have this page to be able to refer to. It tells you how much your loan is for, and it gives you your mortgage account number, as well as telling you exactly where to send your payment to. And then I give it to them. I put it in their packet as the very first page. All right, this is the hazard insurance endorsement letter. We do nothing with that. This is the initial escrow account disclosure statement. And what I say is, this is in regards to your escrow account. It's telling you how much is going into your account each month and at what point they plan to make those payments. If you're good, can I get you to sign and date? That's all I do. Now, mind you, I do point to these numbers. Point to the property tax, and then July, point to the property tax, and then December. I point to that information so that they can see exactly what I'm talking about, and then I tell them to sign and date. Notice of furnishing negative information. What I say is, this document here simply states, if you miss payments, it will affect your credit report negatively. Sign and date. Boom, easy peasy. This is your signature name affidavit. Says that you are all of these people listed here. Can I get you to sign and date? And so where these names come from is, from my understanding, is from the lender. When they do a credit report, there are variations of your name. For example, it might be my first and last name. Another variation might be my first, middle name, last name. Another, my first name, middle initial, last name. All the different variations of my name as it showed up on my credit report. And so that's where they get this information. And it will all be here, all of those names, and then sign and date. Now, if they say that they are not whomever, what they do is they're going to line through that name, that one name. So let's say Susie Smith said that she is not Susie J. Smith, and Susie J. Smith shows up on this document. Susie Smith is going to line through, one line through that name. She's going to initial and put never known as. That's what she does to correct that. And then she's going to sign a date. And you're going to notarize the document. This is the tax record information sheet. This is not for you. This is for the settlement agent. So you're not going to mess with that at all. You're going to flip it over. Notice the homeowners. So let's read this first page, because oftentimes the documents are once we read the first paragraph or two, we can figure out what they're talking about. You are legally obligated to make the monthly payments required by the mortgage, deed of trust, and promissory note. So the only thing I say when I get this document is, this document states that you are obligated to make monthly payments. Sign and date. All right. This document here is a little confusing, but what I say is, if you are in the market for other mortgage products, you can always use this document here to comparison shop. Can I get you to sign a date? And if you read it, that's basically what it's saying. Now, any more than that, I don't know, but that's not for me to know, and that is okay. All right, this document here, I said, this document is simply giving you some information, not really pertaining to you, but it's just giving you some information about the condition of property. It's talking about interest rates and discount points, and it's talking about not committing mortgage fraud. Can I get you to sign and date? And that's all I said. It's disclosing information. It's just, fluff. This is a Maryland document. Maryland notice of option to pay property taxes semi-annually. So the only thing I say is, do you want your property taxes paid annually or semi-annually? Now, if we recall, when we looked at our that tax document, the escrow document that we looked at, and I pointed to, and I told them when their payments were going to be made, it already said that it was scheduled to be paid semi-annually. So they're going to say semi-annually. They're going to put an X in this middle section and then sign and date. Now, if they choose to do something different, I typically advise them to contact their lender, because some lenders have requirements that say it has to be paid semi-annually or it has to be paid annually. So if they choose to do something different from that other document, then they're welcome to put it down on this sheet, but it might be worth the conversation that they have on another day to see if that option is even available, because it may not be. All right, lender's attorney's fee certification. This document here is in regards to the lender's attorney fee that may be applied to your loan, sign and date. And in this case, and not ever have I seen that this was ever filled out. So not ever has there been a fee for lender's attorney unless it was just not put on this document here. And then they sign a date. Maryland affidavit refinancing exemption. We've already had a similar like document. All this is it's talking about how your deed of trust is recorded at the county clerk's office, sign a date. And that's exactly what I said. This is talking about how your deed of trust is recorded at the county clerk's office, sign a date, I notarize. This is another Maryland document. And when you see this, if you see this first page, you're going to do nothing with it. You're going to do nothing with the first page, but you are going to look at the next page. And you're going to see, and this is what I say to them. This document wants to know how this loan benefits you. So you're going to read each statement. If it pertains to you, you're going to initial over here. If it does not, you're going to leave it blank. So for example, if you're obtaining a lower interest rate, you'd initial over here. It might be a few items that pertain to you. It might be just one, and then you're going to sign and date. And that's typically what I say. However, in this case, the lender has already filled this out. They've already filled this out. They put X's there. I don't knock what they're doing. But if you read over here, each borrower should initial any benefit that applies. So since the lender did that, I am not going to overrule them. However, oftentimes this is blank. And when it's blank, I have the borrower's initial, because that's what the rules say. So the original borrower is going to initial on these lines over here, whichever pertains to them. And then the co-borrower is going to initial on these lines over here, whichever pertains to them. But either way, they're going to match up. So if the borrower initials here, then obviously the co-borrower is going to initial here. All right, and then they are going to sign and date. All right, this is a Social Security verification document. So the only thing I say is this can you confirm that this is your Social Security number? Yes, it is. By default, they're asking for 90 days to verify your social. If you're good with that, can I get you to initial right here? They're going to initial, then you're going to sign, and then I have them sign and date. And that's all. I've never had anyone talk to me about the 90 days. I guess no one cares. But they sign and date. And flip it over. Here's the W-9. The only thing I say is, can you confirm that this is your social? Yes? All right. So then I make sure that this individual box is checked off. If it is not, I say, for this particular loan, you were considered an individual. So can I get you to put an X in that top box there and then sign and date? That's what I say. Keep going. This is your hazard insurance authorization requirements and disclosure. The only thing I say is this is your lender's requirements in regards to hazard insurance. Can I get you to sign a date? And you can see that listed below are your lender's policies and procedures and minimum requirements for hazard insurance. See, I just described that document by looking at that first line. All right, then sign a date. Compliance agreement. Okay. So there are typically like 4 of these in here. They go by different names, but they are very similar to one another. So there's the compliance agreement, errors and omissions, correction agreement, and limited power of attorney. There we go. So all of them are basically the same. The only thing is that they're basically the same. So what I say is, when we get to the very first one, I'll say this is a correction agreement. You'll find that there are several in here. All of these documents are saying is that if there are any minor errors, for example, they misspell your name, then they can make those changes. However, any major errors, I or someone else can come out and get additional signatures as necessary. Sign a date. I know it's a mouthful, but that's what I say. I get them to put the date, the month, the year, sign a date. I notarize. All right, this is your flood hazard determination. It states that you do not live in a flood hazardous area. Sign a date. This is talking about transferring of your service from your old lender to your new lender. Sign a date. This is your certification and authorization. You certify that you are who you say you are, and I'm pointing to certification. You certify that you are who you say you are, and you authorize release of your information to your lenders so that they can finalize everything. Sign and date. This is disclosing some information to you about the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Sign and date. Can you once again confirm that this is your social? Correct? Okay. Can I get you to put an X in the box? Sign date. Now, you always want to make sure they put an X in the box. If they don't, it will be rejected and you'll have to go back and do it again. All because that little box is not checked. But you have them sign date. And often I see 2 of these in here. Borrower's consent to the use of tax return information. Sign date. And so this document here is somewhat referencing this document here. So the only thing I do is I get them to confirm that this is your social, if this is their social. However, if they ask questions, which is rare, your social security number is tied into your taxes. So the lender is requesting tax return information for these 3 years. So it'll say like 2020, 2019, 2018. And at the end of the day, they want to make sure that they have the right person, the tax information and the address associated with the tax information is correct, because at the beginning of the year, the borrowers are going to receive tax return information for their taxes. And that's going to help them when they file their taxes. So you want all of that to be equal. So that's the reason for it. This document here wants their social security number, and by getting their social security number, they're gaining access to these 3 years of tax return information. And then that next document, you're giving them consent to the use of the tax return information. See how that came back full circle? Hopefully I explained that clear. All right, sign a date. Again, like I said, I often see this document in here twice. What I say is, can you confirm that this is your social? Put an X in the box, sign, date, and then print your name. See how this time their name is not printed there. So put an X in the box, sign, date, print your name. Oh, here is another one of those demographic information addendums. Don't know why it's in here twice. However, if it's in here more than once, then I still get them to sign it. If the document is in there and they typically would sign it, I don't care how many times it's in the packet, I always get them to sign it, because you never know if title has documents and then escrow has the same documents and then lender has the same documents, so it's in there 3 times. Get them to sign it. I know it's annoying, it costs more money, but I'd rather have them sign it and lender, title, escrow not needed than they look at me and say, hey, you made a mistake. All right, so this is that demographic information addendum. I always get them to sign and date if it's a standalone document, and which this one is. Telephone Consumer Protection Act disclosure. And you'll see something similar to this document. I've seen it different ways, but the only thing I say is, do you want them to be able to contact you? Should they be able to get your interest rate lower? Yes or no? Yes, put an X here, sign, date. No, put an X here, sign, date. Here is yet again another one of those correction agreements I told you about, sign, date. That's exactly what I say, because I've given them the long spiel about the correction agreements already. So that's all I say, sign and date. I'm going to notarize the document. Here is again another one of those benefit disclosures. Like I said, I think this is a Maryland document. You're going to skip that page. The lender has already deemed, considered the benefit to your loan. So all I need you to do is to sign no date. And again, these are the benefits to why they're getting the loan. So for them, they're obtaining a lower interest rate. They're obtaining a lower monthly payment, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And the new loan is guaranteed, originated, or funded by the Federal Housing Administration, Department of Veteran Affairs, or other state or federal housing agencies. So this is the FHA loan. So this is, so see, the new loan is guaranteed, originated, or funded by FHA. They're gonna sign no date. Now this is something that the borrowers gave to the lender or whomever. So the lender probably requested a homeowner's insurance policy or something along those lines. You'll see all sorts of documents in here that you can tell was probably faxed to the lender or something like that. So when that happens and it's in the packet, I always get the borrowers to sign and date anywhere at the bottom. So I'll get them to, I'll say, this is your homeowner's insurance information. Can I get you to sign and date anywhere at the bottom? And that's exactly what I said. So sometimes you'll see tax paperwork in there. You get, if it's their paperwork and they are probably the ones who submitted it to them, you just get them to sign confirming that that information is accurate or that they gave it to the lender or something like that. But you just get them to sign and date. Next document is a payment history of some sort. You just get them to sign and date anywhere at the bottom, wherever they can. This document is an escrow analysis. Outside of this packet here, I never saw this document before, but because it's an escrow analysis, that's not something the borrower would have submitted. That's something that escrow would have turned in. So I do not get them to sign that. I just skip over the document. Now we're getting to the very end. So if you watch my other videos, you know that at the very end is where I put the ID and the disbursement stuff. And the reason for that is because when I get to the table, I don't want anybody to get up from the table until we're done just about. So I put the ID piece and the information about the loan disbursement, how they're going to get their money, because most of the time, if the borrowers are receiving money, then they need to leave and go find a voided check and go get this information, that information. I don't want them to do that until the very end. And while they're looking for whatever information they're looking for, I'm filling out the Patriot Act form. So I'm using that time and I'm not just wasting it. So this is the disbursement of proceeds, and it wants to know how they are going to get, how they want their money. So let's pretend that borrowers are getting $1,200. So what I say is, okay, this is the most important document. You're getting monies back. How do you want that money? Do you want it sent to you in the form of a check, or do you want a direct deposit? If you want a direct deposit, I need a voided check. If they say they want it sent by mail, via check, then I get them to figure out which one they want, first class mail or overnight mail. They're going to put in the address that they want it sent to, and then they're going to date and sign. But let's pretend that the borrower is getting no money back. So in this case, for this particular closing, if memory serves me, the borrower was giving me $700 and some. All right. So what I'll say in that case is, are you expecting money back? And typically they say no. And so I'll say, okay, in the event that your settlement statement is not absolutely accurate and they owe you money, is it okay for them to send the money to this address? And so, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes the settlement statement is not accurate and they've made a payment since then. So now the borrower has to be refunded one full payment because what the lender had wasn't absolutely accurate. So sometimes it happens. And so most of the time they'll say, yes, they can mail it to this address here. So if they can mail it to this address here, then all they're going to do is date and sign. So they do nothing with this information here because they're not expecting a whole lot back, or they're not expecting anything back, rather. However, if they say, no, that's the property address, my mailing address is 123 Elm Street, then that's what they're going to put here. 123 Elm Street, blah, 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 state, zip. And then they're going to date and sign. If they are expecting money back and they want it via direct deposit, then they're going to fill in this information here using the information, excuse me, off of their voided check. And then they're going to date and sign. And I am going to notarize. So while they're filling in this information, or while they're going to hunt down a voided check, I am doing this. I'm filling out this information. I'm putting in the borrower, I'm putting in my name here, the borrower's name here, and I'm filling out this for borrower 1 using their driver's license, and then I'm filling out this for borrower 2 using their driver's license, and then I'm doing this, and then I'm signing, and then I'm doing the same thing for the Patriot Act form. This form requires only one form of ID, so I'll put the driver's license, the city and state, the ID number, insurance date, issuance date, and expiration date, and then I'm going to sign. I'm going to print my name, and then I'm going to put my title here. And NNA suggests you put your title as signing agent, because for this particular page, we're not notarizing any documents. So technically, we're a signing agent for this particular document, but some companies feel differently. But not ever am I told that it's been rejected if you put notary public. I'm just telling you what NNA suggests. So you're going to sign, you're going to print your name, you're going to put your title and today's date. Now, I do want you to be mindful because some companies require 2 forms of ID, so you just want to make sure that you're reading it. Either it's going to be here, or oftentimes it's in the second paragraph, I believe, that says 2 forms of ID. You just want to make sure you're doing exactly what the document wants you to do. All right, well, that's a full packet. I know it took a long time, but we need to know what we're doing and how to be efficient, right? And so hopefully this video helps somebody, But stay tuned for more videos. If you've made it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Please share this video with other people that you feel might benefit from it. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I love all the comments that you all leave me. You all are so sweet. You all are doing some really big things. I love hearing the success stories and oh, today is my first signing, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.